Good evening and welcome to Balsamic Games and Nightsky Sanctum Session 42, the series finale. Thank you all for being here so much, and we are so excited and a little nervous. But wow, look at everybody! Everybody looks so good tonight. um, hey Juniper, hello Isabella. Hello, Gamora Gumdrop. We wanted to say a thank you to Forged Gaming, who is sponsoring our giveaway tonight. So we will talk more about them throughout the evening. And yeah, we've already looked at their site, and it looks fantastic. So we're really, really excited for that. Thank you.
And I'm sure they'll be better at shipping out prizes than we are.
we have been a hair slow on that. I think
I apologize.
Bloody Rose White Wolf has been waiting over a year, but that wasn't our fault.
Oh, they finally got sent back to us. We got them back in the mail the other day, and they're like, "I'm sorry, it can't be delivered to this address." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yep. But yeah,
they made it back home.
They made it back to us. We'll take pictures of all the prizes, and so we can put them in chat. Yeah, doesn't Azalon look awesome with that the new horns? Look fantastic. Let's see. I will put their link into chat as oh, thank you, Gamora. We'll make sure that it's working. Yep, it is. Great. Okay. Yeah, so let's start by having everybody tell the audience who you are and what character you're playing. And we'll start with Morningstar.
My darlings, I am the beautiful Morningstar, and this evening I shall be playing Elise, Medean Psyche, who, as of our last session, has gone a little bit catatonic / unhinged after a bump-in with a greater being.
And that's rare for Elise. A greater being. Megan?
I'm Megan. I play Seth, our shapeshifter. Meet Swamp of Water plus Garbage Island. They mainly do shape-shifting magic around sea creature-centric animals and try to do problem solving through that because otherwise they're good at it.
They're fantastic at almost everything, but yeah, they do like to shapeshift as they do it. Andrea?
Yeah, I'm Andrea. I am playing Hollis this evening for the final time. Yeah, Hollis is a Gob Baba witch, which means she is short, green, pointy-eared goth girlfriend who likes death and dying and all that good stuff.
And Azalwin.
And I'm Azalwin, and I'm playing Yarrow, who is a very friend-centric satyr who is reckless and unstable and has a wonderful familiar in Jean, who is a phoenix and generally likes to be clingy and will be along for the ride tonight.
Awesome.
Speaking of clingy familiars.
Mm-hmm. We have one of two Hermeses has entered.
Hermes has entered the chat.
Yeah. All right. So, as Morningstar mentioned, when we left off, the Coven had brought back the third exiled Lich brother, this one from deep in the astral plane. And since the brothers have been reunited, they have been working tirelessly to try to figure out the prophecy that they had been working on before 400 years ago when they were all exiled to different realms. So they've been working on making this prophecy come true, but it was dealt a blow when the Coven had to use wild magic to try to keep the lover of the underworld brothers, or his lover, alive, and in the consequences of the wild magic, the children that are supposedly part of this prophecy lost their ability to work magic, and that was a key point of the prophecy itself. And because of that, the Coven has been far less hounded by factions trying to make sure that the prophecy doesn't come true, because now they're like, it doesn't look like it's coming true, so we're not worried about you guys bringing liches back from other worlds. So they've had some nice downtime recently, in which they were able to get a full heal. All their harm has been removed, their willpower is filled, their essence is filled, and the essence in their enchanted tools is also refilled. So I think Yarrow and Elise have enchanted tools.
Oh yes,
Indeed.
Yarrow has silver horn tips.
That's right.
And Elise has her cigarette holder.
Yep, so those are all filled, topped off on essence, so that's great. And over the last couple of weeks, maybe month or so, you guys have been rebuilding the castle that was on the site of South Brother Island, where you guys call your Covenstead, and giving a place at the top of that tower for the Lich Brothers to continue to do their magic without causing any harm or other trouble to you or the children, because you were having an issue with the children's cells breaking down in the presence of the Liches. So
They didn't make good babysitters.
they did not. So that leaves us at a point where you guys have had some time to decide what the next steps are, where you want to take things, and what big movements might be upcoming from you, because you feel quite empowered because of all the things that you guys have accomplished. Anything jumping out at you?
Well, we could send Jean to gather information, maybe follow one of the people who run the parade and see how many, like a head count even.
Okay, yeah. I think you're talking about the Samhain parade that the Order conducts every year around this time. Yeah. As far as the parade route, none of you would have any trouble whatsoever going there, either with your familiars or even personally, to gather information there, because these are just the normal streets of midnight every other day of the year. So, but on the if you wanted to do it on the eve of Samhain, you could possibly find out if there's going to be any difference in the parade route this year, something like that.
Yeah, general head count.
We certainly cannot have any last-minute redirections that we don't know about.
Gotcha. Okay. That sounds like maybe a day of kind of thing. Is there anything you... we can just start with that, and we can always flash back further if you guys need to gather information from a little further back, based on what you learn. So, okay. What would you like to use for that, Yarrow?
Let's see. I'm going to, I guess, just a general survey, and we'll just have Jean kind of post it up, and if there's any change, then Jean will let us know.
Okay.
We'll see how successful they'll be. And for gather information, it's just G, right?
Yes. And you can use willpower if you want to enhance that.
And they should be.
All right, one die. That's that is a partial success. So that's going to be some decent information. Yeah. So I think what Jean sees is that the parade route is very nicely marked out ahead of time ahead of the actual parade. You can see the garages where all the like floats and things like that are parked. Everything looks normal, and yet Jean is able to sort of trace a route from through from back to front of the parade route. And I would say everything looks normal on the surface. Are there any sort of questions you want to ask that a little deeper?
About how many floats there might be.
Okay.
Just general, just how many people from the order are going to be there? Like, how many floats? If we can get a general head count, then I might know.
Yeah.
Exactly. If we
Which
need to.
one is Sovereign Morningstar going to be on?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So you find 12 floats inside this warehouse that is within a block or two of the beginning of the parade route, and they look to coincide with a lot of the known congregations around midnight. So there is definitely one that's associated with the keepers of the old ways and things like that. You do see Sovereign Morningstar's float as well as a smaller thing that doesn't look like it's meant for people to ride on, but it looks like a 8-foot tall sugar skull on wheels. Yeah, so you get a lot of information like that. As far as, finding out who is like signed up and everything, you'd need to go deeper into the warehouse to get some more information on that, if you have an idea about how you'd want to go about it.
Does our telepathic bond extend to our familiars?
Yep.
Okay, so if Jean just kind of sneaks in what I call her little Cole mode,
Right.
see if she can peck around and just do another survey of the inside to see if she can find a list of names or anything like
Gotcha.
that, like a party list.
Maybe
the planner left one behind.
Yeah, that sounds to me like that would maybe be a little bit more detailed than a survey. Usually you don't do the same action in a row, but
she can do study. She'd have to study.
Would work. Okay.
Go study some books, Jean.
I'm thinking it might take a prowl. There are people in there that are working on the floats, and even in coal mode, she's still, decently large. Large bird. So maybe a prowl to get in there, and that would get you closer to the documents that you're probably looking for.
Yeah, I'll definitely spend 2 willpower for an extra die for that one.
All right, that's a complete success.
But Jean
mode works
such
out.
a stealthy baby. Stealthy, we love her.
Awesome. Okay, so she waits until a bunch of the people go out and go to a nearby bar, and is able to make her way across without being caught. And you find a back room with some paperwork that seems to have registration details. Surprisingly, there, aside from the names of linking up whose float goes with who, there's not a lot of information about anybody else other than the float stuff. But you do find some paperwork that says that they'll need extra water available for all the members of the Red Watch and the Ever Vigilant Eye that will be present.
No, they must be super thirsty, you know.
Yeah, like water for drinking or like.
Water for dousing anyone who dares to question.
Yeah.
So where's this water
Yeah.
at?
It apparently hasn't arrived yet, but it is a paid invoice.
Well, I guess we won't be drinking the water at this parade. All right, I'll relay this to everybody. Everybody knows this, so.
Okay.
And then, since we know which float the Sovereign Morning Star is going to be on,
Yes.
do we want to do anything to that float?
Yes, I had an idea. I don't know how well this will work, but I definitely will need Yarrow's help.
Oh, I'm more than willing to help with all my crafting power.
Yeah, you can make like a spell sigil that you can stick on something that you can make the spell go off later.
Absolutely. I can do sigil craft, and I believe I have words of power too, so that can we can even make something like that conditional.
I was thinking that we stick a fire under the Morningstar's float, and then if we could find where the water is going to be carried around, we could stick an ice under the water so I could freeze the ice and then set the float on fire.
Yeah, I think that just takes one essence and that's it, correct?
Yeah, in addition to the casting of the spell by the other witch, yes, perfect.
Okay. Yeah, I'm more than willing to lend some essence. I have 6 extra in my horns, so
Nice. Yeah,
we can craft quite a few.
You will need to break in there bodily to be able to plant those. Jean can't do it alone.
I think we have a little bit of an operation. Generally, you can do the familiar writing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just sneak in and I'll craft the things and you can tape them.
Yeah, can I stick them on? That would be fine. Post-it note them.
You both need to be present at the place where the sigil goes on.
Okay.
While you're in there, why don't you see if you can find that water and poison it all?
The other option, I guess, would be to put the sigil on something else besides the float, and then you could just carry it there and place it on the float.
Or
So
since we
that's
know
an
that
option
the
as well.
float route, we can put it on the ground and make it invisible on the ground and wait for the float to pass over it.
Yep, they are. They are. The sigils are invisible by default.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that's better. That way we don't have to break in anywhere.
Okay. Okay, in that case, you just decide what the actual spell is, and you can spend the essence required and let me know what it is.
Okay. So I'm going to do... What's it at? 2 different Invoke Tartarus.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to do a fire one and an ice one. And I'm going to do 3 essence for each of them.
Okay. 3 essence should be enough to do a whole float. As far as the water, that might be way more than you need, but...
Okay. You just get it cold enough, you can just flick it, and then the whole thing just, freezes.
Oh yeah, what is it? Super saturated solution? Yeah.
So it's just 1 essence from me for each one of those then? Okay.
Yep. And then what we'll do is when you're ready to use them, we'll just do a spring or some other kind of roll to see how well it works out
Okay.
when the time comes.
Yao can spring really well with her.
So what is the condition on the sigils?
So with the ice one, I want to, I guess, wait. I don't know. Well, we don't know how they're carrying or transporting the water or what it's for. So if it's like
You know
one
what?
big,
I'll say because Yarrow got a complete success on that last roll, you find that one of the floats has a trailer hitch, and the number in the paperwork corresponds to that float. So it looks like that's
okay,
the float that will be carrying the water.
okay. And do we know what position it is in the lineup?
Yeah, it'll be the third from the front.
Okay. Okay. So my idea is that at the midpoint of the parade, we freeze the water so that they can't use it to put out fire, and then set the fire. So they have to, so they will have gone a lot of the parade, normally, uneventfully. And then at the midpoint, we blow shit up.
Yeah, so we'll have a freezing sigil first, and then a little further down we'll have a fire sigil, and
Yeah.
those floats tend to go up pretty well. So.
Yeah.
Oh, the crinkly paper.
Okay.
Too bad there's not like a giant helium balloon flying around anyway.
Mhm.
Oh gosh.
So
It's a balloon.
based on you guys' knowledge of the Order, you've never really faced Sovereign Morningstar or any of his ilk before. So you don't have a lot of information about in what ways he's protected. And that could be a major problem if you try to take any action directly against him. So looking into that might also be a good idea. Maybe something while Yarrow and Hollis are busy on their setup. Maybe there's something Seth and Elise can do.
Well, we could certainly do some spying on him or attempt to do some research somehow.
Okay. He's been around for a long time. So yeah.
Somebody must know something.
Mm-hmm. Any ideas of like any NPCs you want to bring into that? You'll always get +1 die for an NPC.
Well, we could see if, perchance, someone from the exiled know a thing or two, since they've had agreements and have certainly been around a while. Either that, or we could just try to find Rowan Sharp and take what we want from his mind.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have that shifter ally from the exiled if you're interested.
Oh, okay. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, so in which direction do you want to take it, or do you guys both want to go, talk to your, the people that you're comfortable with and, like as a group action?
Be Elise's backup because considering what happened to Elise last time, I think Seth's gonna want to at least be like, okay, maybe you need some backup. So Seth will go wherever Elise wants to go, but just kind of like keeping an eye on their coven mate.
Okay.
If we opted to go to see the exiled first, perhaps we could bring them the children. They might know what to do with the rest of them under the circumstances.
Sure.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I was gonna offer a if it turned out just right, I was gonna offer a fey bargain in those regards anyway. So, yeah, that's perfect. Okay, yes. So, who is Elisa's contact? And welcome, Robot Rainbows. Thank you for making it.
I believe it was Seth's contact.
Okay.
It's Sip's contact. Their name is Coral.
Okay.
They're a shifter from the Exiled.
Okay. Were they the parent of one of the children?
No,
I
that...
think
I had her name written down somewhere.
they were the friend.
Rowena.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys have major leverage on Rowena as far as that goes, from returning her missing child to her after I think he was abducted for several years. So I could see, depending on the type of action you take, I could see that helping a lot. Possibly increased effect.
Certainly help.
What do you
It's been
think?
beneficial giving back these children. We actually got more from giving them back than we did from keeping them.
Yep, everyone who is chatting is already entered into the giveaways. So, thank you all so much. And we will have 4 giveaways throughout the evening, so we will be sneezing repeatedly throughout the evening.
Ragweed. It's ragweed season. I'm sorry.
Okay. So what action do you want to use, Elise? And I would assume, Seth, you're gonna give willpower for a +1 die. Couldn't hear you, but I could tell that was a yes.
Oh, yes. I'm just too far from the mic, or is my mic still too quiet?
I don't know. I couldn't tell. That one we couldn't hear anything, so...
Alright, I'll try to stay closer. I'm slouching.
Yeah. Okay, good. The link is working. Although, even though it has a backslash after it by accident. What are you thinking for Elise?
I'm thinking in this instance, it might make more sense to be using Sway than Command to try to reach Rowena and find some information from her.
Okay.
Especially because we have so much rapport, it seems like it makes more sense, even if I'm not as good at it.
Yeah. So Sway implies that you're lying or misdirecting.
Was it? Oh, if I had known it was about lying, I thought it was about convincing.
It can be for sure. As can Command. They have a lot of overlap on purpose. But I was thinking consort sounds more like what you've described.
Consort.
Yeah.
Right.
You'd get +1 die from Seth and increased effect from your previous, your overall relationship.
Right. Well, that's not a huge amount still, but I can make do.
As I said, I can give you a fey bargain for an extra die if you're interested.
I think if there was ever a time to go for fey bargains, it's today. Elise isn't usually the sort, but now that she's gone a little bit addled, she might be willing to reach out to the fey for help.
Added bonus, you probably won't have to pay it back.
Probably not. That is an added bonus.
Yeah, so and then I lost the fey bargain, so that's always fantastic. I think a good fey bargain would be the liches have already talked to Rowena, and you find out that they have been communicating, and they already have a plan. And yeah, so we would just put it there. So the bonus is because she's already on the same wavelength because she's been communicating with one of the liches.
Perfect. How helpful. And that means that I could get 3 die,
Nice.
which would be as good as my command. So, let's see if I can, leveraging all of the friendliness thus far, convince Rowena to provide a little bit more help to us.
Yeah. I also think you chose exactly the right people to go with, because the exiled are the biggest enemy to the Order. So if anybody has information about the Order and how to potentially do them harm, it is them.
And if anyone's likely not to betray us the last minute.
True. So you got a partial success, but because it's greater effect, that bumps up to a complete success. So she tells you there is no doubt whatsoever, Sovereign Morningstar's staff is the source of all of his power. And you all have seen from that astral almost dream state that you were in previously, that staff itself was made of the crowns of the 3 Lich brothers. So she directs you back to them potentially to get more information about the staff, its particulars, but she'll tell you in no uncertain terms the staff is the thing that you have to separate from Sovereign Morningstar if you want to have any chance of causing him harm or anything else of that nature. And she can give you some examples if you want from the really good die roll.
Examples are certainly welcome.
So a wild magic attempt was made on the Sovereign's life several years ago. It's the reason that the leader of the Exiled is still being hunted, is that they believe that she had something to do with it. It was a wild magic attack, and this was before the era of redstone, the redstones that the Order has been able to get a hold of. It was sort of a kamikaze style attack, and the edge of Morningstar's cloak was singed by the attack. As soon as any of his clothes took damage, he immediately teleported back to Belvedere Castle and to complete safety. It did decimate the Red Watch at the time, but he was completely unharmed. So, and that
What
was...
you're saying is we need to set up a trap inside Belvedere Castle so that when he teleports back, he explodes immediately.
That might be even harder to do than than the plan that you have so far. Belvedere Castle is warded every possible way you can think of.
They don't want us breaking in again.
Yeah. She tells you about this gold filigree that's on the floors. It's hardly noticeable as anything but beautiful. But that gold was forged with the ashes of burned witches to keep other witches from being able to scry into the area.
Damn.
Yeah. So only the lobby is visible through scrying. Everything else is nearly impossible to breach. Of course, going in there physically is definitely an option, but so...
But it would be more fun to attack him in public anyhow.
But he has basically 2 layers of defense. The anti-wild magic redstone and all of the defensive and offensive weapons that they've created using that. And then on top of that, he has his staff. So Anything else you want to ask them before you head back?
I'm not certain I have any ideas, Seth, darling. Do you have anything that you think we should ask?
I'm trying to think, but I can't think of anything. Pressure's on, and my brain's the
Brain
palm
pressure.
going.
All right. She sends her child back with you to the Liches, since you will be visiting them next, probably to get more information. So all four of you meet back up at your coven stead, and are able to share the information that you've gathered.
Okay, so we have to have a idea of how to get this staff before we fire and ice him.
If you're targeting the floats, like the ice one, you shouldn't have any problem with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if the fire one were to go off against his float, he might just immediately disappear.
I could be on standby with my arcane supremacy, maybe, and see if we can stop that from happening.
It is possible. I would say it would probably start as a 0 effect, because we're talking about such a high tier artifact. For context, the 3 crowns that they made into the staff were each tier 5 artifacts, known to have powers that rival the actual liches themselves.
Now, can you grab it from, like, the shadow world? Bam, surprise Hollis.
Yeah, wild magic would be probably the single best bet, if you had the right the right ideas. And I think coming in from another dimension definitely seems like that could be useful. So I think what it comes down to is that you probably will not be able to use wild magic in his presence because of all the redstone. I know Yarrow had been going through her workshop and trying to put together all of the mythical components and everything that you guys have been amassing over the last I think 2 years of game time. Did you
Yeah,
have?
that can be. Basically, I was thinking more or less when you had said something about a bionome. all these bits and pieces of now, I've literally was just like, you know what? Let's shove them into one, and it's just this fun little ball of fun, literally, with different little like literally pieces of gnome, a tentacle here and there hanging out. That's gonna be my if we need a distraction, guess what? We have that.
Yeah.
What power words do you have again?
Oh, I have all the fun ones. You know, I do have destroy and die. I decided that was fun. I do have heal, sleep, and I believe there was one more that let me find. Because I did spend a bit getting a couple of them, but I I remember die
You
and
definitely
heal
got destroy as well,
and
if I remember
destroy.
right.
Yeah, destroys in there because that one's been that's the one I'm missing because that's been the problematic one here and there. We've destroyed things we don't want to. Um, so I could maybe do a giant power word sleep and see if we could put the whole parade to sleep first.
Even if just his float as a distraction, because I have the patient transformation so I can mimic an inanimate object. I'm wondering if we just do the switcheroo and it's like, I'm his staff now.
I mean, that would certainly be highly entertaining if we could find a way to swap you with his staff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just the how done it kind of.
I'm willing to try. Like
Seems like
we'll just be nice like spectators on the sideline. I'll have a megaphone and or I'm like my power words tend to amplify as it is and get me in trouble. We'll just all have little cotton stuffed in our ear and I'll yell sleep at everybody. If more people fall asleep than sovereigns float, it's fine.
Yeah, I think as far as their redstone weapons, that could put an end to you all pretty quickly. So something that might nullify the redstone, maybe even just temporarily, could be a massive boon. That's like the kind of thing you could do with a charm, a short-term solution. The only thing is you would need a little hair of the dog, or not hair of the dog. That, I guess that wouldn't be the right word. You need a little bit of the bad stuff to be able to make some good stuff out of it.
Well, I'm wondering if my crazy amalgamation is enough to like take all the focus away because there's so many different magical bits in that. I'm wondering if it would maybe overload it a bit or confuse it at least.
It's made of Lucifer's some of Lucifer's tentacles.
There are definite gnome bits in it. Oh, basically every creature we've come in contact with, I've taken a little piece of. So there's lots of interesting. I should have made an exact list. I started writing them down as we went per episode, and I was like, oh, if I need to know, I'll just go back a couple pages. Well, I need to know all of them.
Are you creating a monster?
It's like a Frankenstein's monster gnome eldritch horror.
It's kind of just a chimeric mine. Almost. It's just a big ball, kind of,
Yeah, I love what you're saying there, and I think you're on the right track. The problem is you need the catalyst, the thing that can actually take out the redstone. So you're gonna need some redstone.
Oh, we need.
But we have some redstone.
Do we?
We do.
We have a redstone of some kind.
This paperweight.
That one that Whisper climbs on all the time whenever you guys aren't looking. He's all climbing on there and sitting on top of it like it's his best friend. Yeah.
The sketchy one we found at the bottom of the water when we lost Gaia.
Like we just take a little piece of that and see if we can craft it into my. I'm gonna just call it the Eldritch Shop of Horrors, and if we can
abomination.
Yeah, the abomination.
I have those mythical transformation creature bits. If you want to go full like Frankenstein.
Oh yeah,
Steph's going to relinquish their ability to shape into things forever, just so that you can create a more horrible being.
Do you want to give it some silver wing powers too while you're at it?
The more confusing and horrifying.
Tar sprite, Eldritch monster, like Siberian. Like I got loads of stuff if you want it. Heck, you can use your destroy word maybe and like tell it to like just go. Like
yeah, I mean, I do eventually just want to that's the main plan. I want to unleash it just because it's like this is my great magnum opus. This is what I've been in my workshop some of these times doing, and yeah, just kind of gone off the deep end and got lost in I got lost in creating my ultimate friend, I call it.
Well,
we've all completely lost our minds, haven't we?
Yeah. Although I do think you should keep a couple for your transformations, but
yeah, I'll keep some of for myself. But if there's anything that you want, I got.
The silver wing powers would probably be quite hilarious adding on to it.
Yeah.
So that's tier 3 if you want to take it's a bone. Jeez, I'm bonking on my stuff around.
Bonk.
Yeah, I'm literally just gonna roll it out and say, "Do your best, little guy."
All right. So
Mama believes in you.
okay, so for assembling a charm roll, what we have here is obviously a charm can be any kind of physical spell work. So a sort of redstone disrupting clockwork gnome, um, juicy clockwork gnome,
It's
definitely qualifies. And
Sapper.
yeah.
I guess we're just gonna call it Yarrow Stein's monster. There.
Nice. So I think that let's see, for the roll itself, this is 1 die for every craft action dot you have.
Mhm.
Plus 1 die if you spend a downtime activity, which I think we can assume you effectively have.
Yeah.
Plus 1 additional die for the Grimoire Workshop Coven upgrade, which you have as well. So craft plus 2 dice is the base of the roll.
Okay, and I was trying to see if I have so many powers that go with crafting. I was like, let me see if there was something that might help. Artifice is just for artifacts, so that's not for charms, correct?
Let me double check. Let me roll up to artifact. There we go. When you design or craft an artifact, you get increased effect. Yeah.
It'll be an even scarier monster. But anyway.
Yeah.
And it is a physical action roll for crafting. Can I get an extra die for alacrity as well if I spend an essence?
I think
Or is that for just actual physical, like...
I think because, yeah, like...
I did it so fast that
yeah.
I assembled it perfectly.
Yeah, as the downtime activity, it only took you a half a day instead of, maybe 2 days, because you were zipping around.
That puts me at 4 already, and
Yeah.
if I spend 2 willpower, that'll put me at 5, and I
Okay.
think I'm gonna do that, because let's see how crazy we can make this thing.
Nice.
And I would like it to have the best option of being the best chance of being the best little monster it can.
Yeah.
The most wonderful horror it can.
Well, hang on, everyone. I lost everybody, but due to a small crash from Discord. So 1 sec.
A Discord crash?
Yeah, it was Discord. So hang on 1 sec. That should have everybody back in their spots. Sorry about that. Oh, some arson. Thank you. Yeah, invisible players. Okay, let me see if I can get this back, because that was just when we made that awesome roll. And then we can see...
Full house.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, my screen is back to normal. Oh, yeah, three twos and 2 5s. All right. So that is effectively a partial success. That is going to get you a 4 o'clock on your Franken gnome monster. Yarrow's Franken friend.
Yeah, it's
Franken gnome. Awesome. Okay. So a 4 o'clock is that is pretty dang decent, because this is a really powerful little guy. So yeah.
I just love the idea of a little tiny guy with I even picture a little gnome hat with so many monstrous tentacles coming out of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's got all the little tentacles like under his little gnome beanie.
Yeah.
Little hat, and yeah, he like pop off the thing, and like there's tentacles squirming around on his head.
And there's odd whispering just everywhere he goes. I don't know.
Did you say something weird, gnome?
It just keeps whispering back to it. It's fine.
Okay. Awesome. So yeah, getting him into position should not be a problem.
hide them under my cloak until we're until we're ready to throw them out there.
So the place where the most people will be congregated is the back area of Times Square. So the most potential people seeing what you're doing, and so you get the best effect, would probably be in or near Times Square. As a bonus, you have a little bit of cover there, because there should be a lot of witches flying around. This is the night when the veil is the thinnest, and it is a celebration of witches and witchcraft. It's just not a celebration of wild witches. It is a celebration of the bound witches, and that's why they each have their own float in the parade, and why Sovereign Morningstar is leading it, of course. So, what is the undertaking and the method in detail?
Okay.
The undertaking is arson, basically. We're going back to our
Probably.
roots for the finale.
Our son or your son?
So anyway, I guess
guess
we're just
this would
gonna
be-
ambush.
Yeah, like an assault mission. And our point of attack being detail being our ambush that we have set.
Okay. Does that work for everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
It does indeed. I still don't quite know what's happening with the gnome thing, but I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Okay.
Be sidekick.
Let me start with an engagement roll then, since we are to that phase. Engagement roll. Alright, you're going to start with 1 die for sheer luck. And then 1 die for every major advantage. So, I think because they're out in the open, we're going to consider that a major advantage. Let's see. I think with the fact that you have all that information about the fact that Red Watch and the Ever Vigilant Eye will be present, you sort of know to be prepared. So I'm going to count that as an advantage. We'll probably eat it back away because you guys haven't actually done anything to prevent them from interacting yet. So let's see. Any other major advantages? I think the liches, Isabella reading my mind there in chat. I think the liches are, unless you guys give them a different command, they think they have the ability to, while everyone is distracted by what you guys are doing, to summon up all the magical energy that they can on you guys' Covenstead island and use that magic to try to give all of the children back their magic. So if you're willing, that is what they'll be spending their time doing, because otherwise definitely having their backing would probably be a way to get some extra dice here. What do you guys think?
Well, it's the least they can do after degrading the children after being their babysitter for a while. So
This is true. This is true. Any dissenting opinions or anything else?
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
it does make sense.
So, I think that I would say Balzaphon. Balzaphon feels like he owes you guys a favor, and he is not particularly tied into this ritual that they're doing. He's done a lot of the research for it, but he's just going to be sitting around on the sidelines anyway. So I think Balzaphon, the demon that you guys rescued from a very particular hell, is probably willing to come out and help you guys. Let's just call that +1 die, and we'll decide in what way you guys want to call on him. And we'll say that he's part of you guys' telepathic connection as well.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So that puts us up to 3 dice. And then we subtract dice for every major disadvantage. I'm gonna
The scary part.
Yeah, I'm gonna say we're gonna subtract 1 for the Red Watch. I'm not gonna subtract 1 for the Ever Vigilant Eye. They have radios and everything. They're gonna be able to like tip the Red Watch off to potential, Wild Witch activity, but they're not actually all that. They're not going to be that helpful. And then, so I think that pretty much leaves us with 2. One of them's kind of unsure because they are the Order is a tier 5 faction, but I think because they're out in the open, I'm going to consider them a tier 3 faction at this exact time. Obviously, his staff is not tier 3, but everything else involved here we're going to say is reduced because they're out of their home area. We're down to 2 dice. There is still a chance of you guys criticaling this and getting in there in a really good position. So, final engagement roll of the season, of the entire thing. All right, here we go. Hey, it's a partial success. That could have been far, far worse. All right. On a mixed result, you are in a risky position when the action starts. So this was a assault, and the detail was Noam Chomsky.
Noam Chomsky.
Yeah, Noam Chomsky. I like that.
If I was going to take down the Sovereign, I would have gone with Zizek, personally.
Oh, okay. Was that the detail? I can't remember.
Ambush, yeah,
Ambush?
with the gnome.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much
Gnome
yeah,
bush.
gnome ambush.
All right. Awesome. So in that case, what does that look like? I think Yarrow, you'd probably be in charge of that.
Yeah, Yarrow's got her best blended to the crowd cloak on, and with Jean hopping around on the top of the buildings, like really worried, and basically sets up in Times Square and asks if Hollis wants to come along too, because Hollis is the activator of the words of power, as it is anyway. And Hollis can hide in my cloak if they want, because it's a big crowd anyway.
Okay.
And I basically set up. I want to set up at Times Square, and when morning stars float past by, release the gnome.
Release the gnome.
Okay.
He's gonna get gnomed.
The gnome. Yeah.
Okay, so I think when you two approach, you notice that the Ever Vigilant Eye is posted up on rooftops. They make their presence pretty obvious, and then on top of that, you have the Red Watch, who appears to be sans vehicles of any kind. They are all on foot, though they are fully armored, and they are basically staked out at every corner, like every street corner, along the parade route. So there's about 60 of them, but when it comes to Times Square itself, there's only about 8. And close to where you guys decide to make your offensive, there are only 4. So I think that's why it's going to be risky. But your target is in sight. You see the skull float out front. It's this big 8-foot tall sugar skull that seems to be like a remote controlled car, basically, a giant remote controlled car that is the front of the parade, but directly behind that is a flamboyant, flashy float. That was alliterative, unnecessarily, and it is only about 10 feet behind the skull, and the sovereign is up there with his staff in his hand and waving to the crowd with the other hand. And he's got his head on a swivel, but at this point, nobody is the wiser as to you guys' positions, as well as your familiars, I assume. So before we take an action on that, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll jump right back into the action, and we'll see you all in just a moment. Hello, and welcome back to Nightsky Sanctum, the final episode. And tonight's giveaway is sponsored by ForgedGaming.com. Make sure to go check them out. I think before we jump back into the action, we're going to go ahead and do the first drawing now. So that gives everybody about 1 more minute. If you haven't sent a chat message yet, go ahead and send a chat message so that you will get entered in the drawing. I see that there are like 24-ish unique people here.
If you don't know what to do, you could just join the cat spin train.
Yeah. if you're a subscriber. Midnight Rose, welcome. I feel like I saw your name earlier as well, so you were definitely already entered, but we still love to see you, so thank you. Yep. So far, there are 14 people that are in the drawing. Okay.
It's good stuff, guys. You don't want to miss out.
Yeah.
Do a chat.
Open a new window, and I will make a D14 roll. Right, the number is 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Rebecca Dementia, you are the first winner of our Forged Gaming
Congratulations.
sponsored giveaway, and that means that you will be receiving a $25 gift card. So I will send you a message on Discord and get a email from you momentarily, so we can pass that on to Forged Gaming. And make sure to everybody to check out their site. They've got some really cool stuff, really cool metal dice, really cool resin dice, and they're always adding new things. They even have some really cool stickers. So we will be.
And who doesn't love stickers?
We'll be doing 2 more $25 raffles, giveaways, and then at the end of the stream, we will be doing the grand prize, a $50 giveaway. All right. Awesome. So stay tuned. All right. So what we see is, you have a horn buddy. As Ellen.
That's my little witchy frog.
Aww.
Decided to join at the end. I was gonna put it at the beginning. I was like, oh no, I forgot about you.
All right. So what we see is this eldritch abomination of a gnome wandering from an alley, and it just walks right past a member of the Red Guard, who just happens to hear a whisper out of one of his ears and turns his head to the side just in time for the gnome to bypass him unseen. And he starts toward Sovereign Morningstar's float. I'm sorry if it's confusing that we have a Morningstar and a Sovereign Morningstar. It is because Morningstar was our inspiration for the look of Sovereign Morningstar. So, yeah.
But not the mannerisms. I don't go around finding witches. Well,
although I think if Elise had her druthers, she probably
with a
would...
bit of rope or chain, perhaps. Not with magic.
Nice. So I promise it'll only be confusing for this episode. All right. Okay. So I think we're going to probably need some kind of action roll to get things started. We're in risky territory because of all of the Ever Vigilant Eye and Order members and Red Watch members that are around. So, who wants to take that first action? I think the things that would make the most sense would be Yarrow's command of the Gnome Charm, or possibly Hollis setting, or one of you setting off one of the sigils. So, your choice.
Well, I could unleash the gnome charm at the same time that Hollis activates the freezing charm.
Group action sounds good.
It's an activation group action. What are we going to use to activate spring?
So I'm gonna spring, yeah.
I think
Okay.
spring makes a ton of sense, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spring my little buddy out into the air.
Okay, and so what is the effect that Yarrow is looking for when she springs the gnome?
Oh, I just want them all to have their attention on that so I can then give Hollis time to get up to the fire sigil.
Okay. So a distraction?
Yeah, so that way it's just enough, because otherwise I don't think there'll be enough time to do the freezing and then come up and do the fire. So
Awesome.
I figure it's a good distraction for the fire.
Yeah. In that case, you have a 4 o'clock for the gnome. We'll just take 1 off of that to get him to basically wander out there, get in the middle of everybody, and create a distraction. I think that'll only cost 1 off that
Like,
clock.
oh no, my weird gnome child wandered out into the float route, guys. I'm sorry.
Everyone's just going to think he's a float.
Get back here, Nomathy.
So in that case, I don't think maybe a group action is needed at all. So we can just have Hollis do the activation on the other thing.
Okay, so I'm going to do the ice activation first.
Okay. Sounds good.
So am I rolling what I would normally roll to do that spell?
You can choose spring or I think because of sort of it's really about how you envision it. So
Okay.
just think of
I
that.
I have to touch it to make it go off.
No.
Okay.
You can set the activation could literally be you saying bamboozle, and that would activate it. So it's
Your unsafe word.
So however you want to accomplish that works for me.
Okay. I'm gonna go with that. She definitely had like an activation word in her mind.
Okay.
Let's say her activation word for each of them is pretty obvious in their fire and ice.
Okay.
So she's going to kind of do it the same way she normally does this spell. So I'm going to go with it's a focus roll for her. She's going to do what looks like her normal spellcasting style. Squat down, touch the ground, say the word. She's going to say it in her goblin tongue, so nobody really knows what she's saying, so that when it happens, nobody knows what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there are other goblins there that understand that.
All right. Okay.
So I need to make a focus roll.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's still going to be... let's say, even though this is, in general, we were in risky territory, I'm going to say because of the setup, we're going to call it controlled.
Okay, I'm going to spend 2 willpower to bump up the effectiveness level.
Okay. And Discord, it looks like Discord has crashed again. So 1 second while we get everybody back again. And I will...
Yes. Can you hear me?
We're invisible.
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Oh no! I don't know where my Discord went. It's gone.
Did yours disappear as well?
Where'd you go, Discord? Where are you at? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I think I found it. I found
Discord
it.
is being a turd today.
It is. Oh my god.
Sorry, Morningstar and Megan. Or Morningstar is split between 2 screens.
Oh no. Well, okay.
Mitosis. First stage.
Oh no. I gotta
Soon
find
there will
everything.
be 2 of me. Or 3, I suppose. Actually, there's already 2 of me. We're struggling with this session as a result of that.
Jeez. I can't remember the last time we've had it anywhere near this bad.
I've never had mine crash before.
I mean, you're still on,
Okay.
for sure. Hey!
Yay!
And everybody's back in the right positions. Great.
Sorry. That was scary. I clicked into a different channel and every screen went black. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what did I do? I tried to go to the other channel
Yeah.
to roll the dice. Oh, and my character sheet's gone. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. Okay.
All right.
We're good. We're good. I can roll dice now. Ugh.
So this is controlled and standard. And you said
Okay.
you wanted to do something to get it up to... Was
Yeah,
it
I
+1
spent
die
2
or increased
willpower.
effect?
Increase effect.
Okay.
Let's
So
hope
you
it's-
want the ice to like jump to something else? Because standard effect, because of the amount of essence you spent, is enough to ice over the whole thing.
Okay, then I'll take an extra die.
Okay. 4 dice. That's nice. All
What did I
right.
get? What did I get?
Complete success. Oh,
Oh,
sorry, you guys can't
yay.
see it?
No, I can see it now.
Oh, you can. Okay, good.
We
Yeah.
can't, indeed.
Good. Okay, one sec. Let me reset all my screens. Okay. Awesome. Full success. So, yeah, you can describe what that looks like. This is basically a trailer that's been prettified a little bit so that it looks kind of like the float that's towing it, which is like mostly like purples and things like that.
Okay.
And it basically looks like a huge Gatorade container with multiple different places where you can squirt it out. Nipples, if you udders.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, your spell was placed up underneath the. So yeah, you can describe that. It's a complete success.
It's got Gatorade nipples.
Gatorade nipples.
Okay. So what I would like to happen, and since I got complete success is gonna happen, is that my ice is so cold that it freezes completely clear, so no one can tell that the water is frozen without paying a whole lot of attention, because it still looks like clear water.
Yeah.
Inside of the tank. It's just not slooshing around anymore.
Yep. Sounds good. It also does it increase in weight? I'm trying to think if it freezes. Does it? I don't think it gets any heavier.
It expands a little bit.
Okay,
maybe,
yeah.
but...
So maybe it freezing. It like ruptures some of the inside of the bottle, so it's not going to hold water anymore. But it doesn't matter right now. From the outside, it looks perfectly usable.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. So that's completely successful. Nobody's getting their water.
You guys are all going to be thirsty.
Yep. Thirsty kids.
What else is new?
All right. Yeah, the gnome is acting as a good distraction. It's walking toward Sovereign Morningstar's float.
Yeah, I wanted to try to climb up the float. That way they all start paying attention only to the gnome. And then I guess right as it passes over the fire sigil, then we can see if we can set it on fire.
We need to get the staff before we set it on fire, because if we don't get the staff first and we set it on fire, he's just going to fuck off.
I wonder if Mr. Noam Chomsky can grab the and try to grab the staff with one of the many tentacles.
Yeah, if so he's a charm, so he can be directed, but it's at the cost of his clock. And right now he only has 3 ticks left on his clock. If you put everything into him, I think he definitely with all the tentacles and everything, he definitely has the ability to potentially get the staff. So yeah, if you direct him to, you can choose the method by which you would make that roll. That would definitely be risky, and there are probably dozens of snipers that are taking aim at him right now.
Well, ultimately, I can just, blame it on it's just a charm gone wrong. I didn't understand what I was making here. My little Franken gnome son just like basically I would say we use 2 ticks just to or the rest of them up just to see if we can grab it at least.
You'll need to retain at least 1 tick so that he can do the redstone disabling burst. But yeah,
Oh
2
yeah.
ticks sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
And then I'm gonna say that's just another spring.
Okay. Makes
Because
sense.
that would be it's like spring in action, little gnome Chomsky. And I'm gonna spend another 2 willpower again to get another die again because we need as much help as possible, eh?
All right, yeah, I'm going to say risky, I think reduced effect, because he's small and everything. So let's see how that goes. That is a partial success. So I think what that looks like is the gnome grabs a hold of the bottom part of the staff, and Sovereign Morningstar just takes the centripetal force of the staff being jerked away and just redirects that so the staff comes down and bonks the gnome on the head. And that's when you hear gunshots ringing out from nearly every street corner and targeting the gnome. But the bullets pretty much just go straight through him. It doesn't like harm him in any way. But
there's enough moving parts. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you see black ichor spill out of one of his tentacles and stuff, but it seems like that core redstone part is still in there. But yeah, he still he does have a hold of the staff, but he's not really mastering it or anything.
So can I focus in for the last command and the last tick to let that little red stone burst go and see if we can disable the stone?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Focus sounds really good to me. I'm gonna say. Actually, you know what? I mean, we could make a roll on that, but it's one of those things where this is like kind of their the perfect weapon against them. So, I don't know if we actually need to roll. I think it's going to be sort of epically effective. But if trying to think. I guess there is the possibility of a crit. So if you think there's a good, any chance that you might critical, we could go ahead and do a roll.
I do. Well, I do have pretty good focus. I could use willpower, and I have faith. I have 2 faith fruits that we could just like dump a faith fruit into it as well.
Yeah. Maybe you used one of those. Maybe we could do a flashback to you using one of those faith fruits in his creation to make sure that this, give him an extra boost. Yeah.
Amplifies that little bit that's in there.
Spoon feeding him like little fake fruit, baby food.
Yeah, I made him into like fruit snacks, and he's just been snacking the whole time, just on little faith fruit snacks.
So I'm gonna say double greater effect. And then if you're spending some willpower to get an extra die.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, because I already have 2, so that'll bump it up to 3. Oh, I'm excited, little Nomathy. How do you do?
Okay. Greater effect pulls that 5 up to a complete success, and then extra greater effect pulls that up to a crit. So not only does it go off, the first thing you see is all of the Red Watch soldiers that had the redstone eyes are now half blind. So
Oh,
Oh.
I
that's
forgot about those
the
guys.
first and most instantaneous effect. The next thing you notice is that people were readying like redstone tipped uh, shocking implements, uh, stun
Rod.
batons,
There you go.
and
Ron Baton.
and the crystals at the front of those just shatter. Um, some of them might have been damaged or destroyed in the process, but some of them are probably still working. So yeah, that is what you see, and you get an extra effect. So you can choose something related to the focus roll to add an effect because of the effective critical.
It could be temporarily blind those closest to the staff as well. It was so bright when it exploded.
Okay.
So we have a short little window to actually get in and set everything on fire before
Yeah.
everybody gains their bearing back.
Yeah, I would say the closest person to the gnome is Sovereign Morningstar. So if you want to use the extra effect to stun Sovereign Morningstar, I think that would work really well.
Well, yeah, I think there's no better time.
Okay. Yeah.
We will stun the unstunnable.
Yeah. So he has some things that look like medals pinned to his shirt and cloak, and one of those just happens to be redstone. And when it bursts, the dust sort of flies up in his face and gets up his nose and into his eyes. And so, for a split moment there, he is stunned. So, who wants to take an action next?
Somebody with alacrity needs to run up there and snatch it. Drive-by snatching.
Oh, I could totally try to. Unless Elise wants to get their heels dirty and run up the...
Get your heels dirty. I like that.
I have lightning.
Isabella
What's
said
up,
he's been
Mr.
snorting that stuff for years. What were you saying?
His
Seth?
whole brain explodes.
I was just asking what our position is right now.
It's completely up to you. Obviously, Yarrow and Hollis have kind of exited whatever alleyways or whatever they were hiding in to get a better vantage point on the things they were doing.
I meant the severity
risky.
of our situation.
Risky
Okay.
in general. But we,
Okay.
yeah, but individual actions might modify that slightly.
Because I have lightning weaponry and it says if your position is not desperate, you may shapeshift and attack, instantly gaining the element of surprise.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if I can shift into just some kind of bird and see if I can dive bomb snatched out of his hands.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. So you're flying around as some kind of bird or insect that's basically invisible to the naked eye, and he can't see anyway right now. And then yeah, you just turn into something bigger when you want to, right before you hit him. Yeah, I think that would work really well.
Okay.
What is the intention? Are you trying to? What are you trying to do as a bird?
Is to either to snatch the staff
Sorry.
or to knock him over.
To snatch.
Snatch the staff from him or knock him over.
Okay.
One of the two. Basically kind of engage into close personal combat.
Yeah. I would say if you're the intention is to snatch the staff, but if you do well enough, you would want to also knock him down. Is that the idea? That would sort of be the critical bonus.
If I can't snatch it, I'm just gonna use that momentum and launch him to him. And knock him over. We'll both tumble down.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep, sounds good to me.
Okay. So that would be spring. Obviously, because it's a surprise.
Sounds good.
So I get +1 die and +1 effect. So it would be Nope. Helps if I type it on the right keyboard.
Ooh, multiple
Sorry.
keyboards. Rich.
I've
Oh,
used
wow. This dice
Three
spot
fives.
is like, oh no, there's no sixes tonight. It's all fives.
Fives are better than threes.
That's true.
Exactly.
Okay, so I think as you fly down, you are instantly in front of him, and you get a talon. What kind of bird are you right now?
yeah, condor.
A what?
A condor.
Oh, a condor. Okay, awesome. You get a talon onto the staff, and you find that his grip on it is extreme. And so you have it, but you, like you said, you still have all that momentum. So if you want, since you were in controlled because of the lightning ability, you can re-roll as risky and try to plow through and get a better effect.
Re-roll on that same
Yeah, same
action.
same action.
Survey with some spring again?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm wondering now if he's hanging on and I'm hanging on. Have you ever seen when two bald eagles fight in the air? They kind of grab each other's feet and spin.
Oh, neat. No, I haven't,
I'm
but
wondering if I hang onto the staff still and I use that momentum to kind of swing him because we're both hanging onto it. So
okay.
I use it as a different like I take a different approach to it and I try to instigate like a brawl or something.
That to me sounds like, yeah, that's definitely going from controlled to risky, because now you're actually trying to, yeah, like you said, really get in there and so yeah, you can roll the same dice as you did last time.
Get in there and handle the staff.
No.
You actually get to roll one extra die. It's
Because I had one last time because of my my lightning weapon.
this is still considered the same action, so any benefits that you added to it, so you may have a critical if you roll another 6. Right now you've got 1, 2, 6. Oh, well, I meant just one die.
Oh, I'm sorry.
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 That's all right.
What would you like me to do? I can roll again, or
Yeah,
I can
just roll one die.
Okay. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Okay, so we're gonna add this to the 1, 2, 6.
Okay.
Okay, 1, 2, 2, 6. Well, still a complete success. So yeah, what does that look like to you?
That looks like as soon Seth realizes they're not going to make any ground pulling the staff out of his hands. He's got too much of a grip on it. So at this point, they're going to just get their wings, use their momentum, and launch to try to swing and knock the Sovereign off balance to see if they can perhaps make him fall.
Yeah.
Off the float, or at least tumble down the float.
Yeah. So I think that you wrench the staff, and it does a complete 180 in his hand, and his grip on it is strong enough that he almost does a 180 as well, and he goes off the side of the float, and you have his staff in your hand for a split second before it teleports back into his hand. And now we're going to start a 12 clock that is the Sovereign Morningstar's staff has been disabled, and you can take 1 off that clock. It has used 1/12 of its power to teleport back to Morningstar's hand.
We have to get it from him 12 times.
Hopefully you do other things that are, so that we're not doing the same thing 12 times, but yes. So you will have to cause it to use its powers. It has a myriad of powers. So
we have nothing left on the Frankenfriend, and we have 1 marked on staff disabled.
I'm actually going to say, because of the Fey fruit that Yarrow used, there is one left on the Frankenfriend.
Oh, we have one more Frankenfriend.
One more Frankenfriend dot usefulness ability. So yeah, you all watch as Sovereign Morningstar literally flips off the side of the float and hits the ground just outside of your view. Like, you don't actually get to see him hit the ground, but you imagine that his face kind of raked the pavement a little bit, but it's just your imagination.
To imagine the satisfying smush of him hitting the concrete.
Yeah. You're like, maybe if we get a hold of these, the tapes of all the cameras and stuff from all these different angles, maybe we'll get to see it someday. If the Order doesn't get to it first, which they will. All right. But yeah, then the staff teleports out of your grasp and back into his hand, and he rights himself and starts looking around for threats. And of course, the first one he sees is Seth as a condor. But you guys can take an action. Elise, maybe?
It would be good for Elise to actually do something, wouldn't it? Although she's not exactly the try to rip a staff out of someone's hand sort.
Yeah.
At least
But
it's just
perhaps,
great.
perhaps she could irk the Sovereign. If she were to make an appearance, she might be able to get him to direct a certain portion of that staff at her, and she's well equipped to try to defend. Probably, potentially. If it all goes poorly, it would be very funny. So, Elise, I believe, shall make her appearance.
Okay.
She will, whilst everyone else is doing their things, attempt to put herself within the Sovereign's line of sight and call out to him. Not as Sovereign Morningstar, but as Kalok.
Oh. Okay. So, is that just what you're going to say to him, or do you... Yeah.
No, well, yeah. A moment. I need an evil speech. Have to do it impromptu. Well, not a whole speech, just an antagonism.
Right.
So Elise will say, Kalok, we've been playing this game for so long. It's time to finally end it.
Okay.
Just an effort to try to get him to focus on her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna say no roll needed. That immediately takes the focus off of Seth. And now he is reorienting his staff so that it is pointing at you.
Like, did you call me by my Christian name?
He's probably not very happy about that.
I'm going to say that you are probably going to need to do a resolve resist. He is going to use the staff to try to alter you mentally in some way.
All right. Well, that does make sense.
All right.
So he's attempting to cast a mental spell on Elise, who's already addled. So
Okay.
interesting. We shall see
Yeah,
if she
we'll
can
see what that caused as well. Awesome.
thankfully resolve is my strongest
It
suit,
is.
but that does not mean that it won't be a terrible roll. So fingers crossed.
And do you yeah, it's not technically great job. Okay. Not a crit, but very, very close. So it's not going to cost you any willpower to resist.
It's a shame it's not a crit there,
Yeah.
unfortunately, because then I could have hit him with it.
All right. So that's not going to cost you any willpower to resist. But what it looks like is it definitely was some type of possession. It didn't feel anything like psyche magic. It didn't have that vibe. But it was some kind of possession. And the thing that tried to possess you was not Sovereign Morningstar. It was something tied to the staff.
Is that a tick?
That is 2 ticks. The only way to get 3 ticks off of it is wild magic. So.
Does anyone want to swoop and attack him while I'm teasing him?
Well, I'm right there, so I might as well.
Yeah.
You said wild magic.
Whilst
Do I
Elise
go
is
gambling now?
making a big show of the fact that his attempt did not work at all.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have a Silverwing bone anymore. So, but I do have an
You
Eldritch.
you are just above the gnome. If you wanted
Just
to
rip it
try
out
to
of him.
like reach into him, you might be able to pull it out. It hasn't been used yet.
I mean, yeah, if I can just like squelch my hand in there and like yank it out. Like I need this more than you do. I'm gonna borrow this.
It will prevent him from being able to use any charm abilities that are Silverwing-ish, but
You
yeah.
just can't
He
fly
just
away.
walked
for
out in
it.
he had all these good bits. And he just walked out in traffic anyways.
like a
Wasn't
good
utilizing it.
like a good gnomish fireman who had been
Mhm.
cheese gratered into non-existence. Okay. Yeah, so I think you're able to reach down in there and get the Silverwing piece, so if you want to do a mythical transformation, that is well within your wheelhouse.
I'm just checking what I have to do for points. So
I think
that's
it's just 3 essence.
3, but I did that trading,
right.
so now it's 2 because it's a
Nice.
tier 3 critter. So that's 2 essence I gotta pop. And should I do a roll or anything for that?
Nope.
Sure.
And yeah, if you want to go dire or anything else.
Yeah, let's go Dire Silverwing card.
Nice.
Or that'll be an extra essence pot.
Yep.
3, 2.
What do you want to do? You are turning into a Silverwing directly over the top of Sovereign Morningstar.
Oh, but then it sounds like you should turn into an anvil swiftly after.
Dire Anvil.
Oh,
This could be your time. This could be your moment.
oh my god.
You could
I
even
haven't
use
used it, yeah.
You could even use the Silverwing bonus because
To be super heavy.
yeah, you're a Silverwing anvil.
Okay, so I gotta add like 1 more essence on. We're doing it.
A
I'm
dire
an anvil with
Silverwing anvil.
Yeah, Dire Silverwing Anvil, and I am literally going. I'm assuming I'm behind him now from the whole swivel position, from swinging him and him trying to attack Elise. So
Yeah, you're
from
kind
the
of
position
above
I'm
him.
at,
Yeah.
I'm above.
Yeah.
So in that case, I will just completely block out the sun above him, let out a scream, and just come down on him.
Okay. All right. What do you want to use for
Goomba
that?
stomp.
Yeah.
Goomba stomp. Would that still be spring because I'm behind him and I'm kind of getting him that way?
Yeah, I think spring works absolutely.
Okay.
Let's call this. Risky standard.
Risky standard, and if I pop 2 willpower, what does that mean?
You can choose. You can add an extra die, or you can bring it up to greater effect.
You know what, let's do an extra die, and I'll see if maybe then the dice spot will be nice. Give me
Yeah.
6.
No, but it's not a complete failure. With the increased effect of your of all the dire and the anvilness and everything, we're going to take that up to a complete success. So, do you want to describe what it looks like when you turn into this thing? How big you are?
Mm-hmm. I'm Jeez, I don't even know how big this would be. I'm assuming that the body itself is going to be something like a little bigger than a Volkswagen Beetle, but it's a completely an anvil shape with silver wings. It's got like teeth like a mimic,
Nice.
and little stubby arms and legs. And it's just gonna scream from its anvil head, neck, torso, body. It's all of it. It's just got little nubs coming out of it, and it's just gonna come crashing down as it just howls.
Yeah. So when you get within a few inches of the top of the sovereign's head, you see this magical effect lash out of the staff, and you hit a dome, and you kind of slide off of it to the side. It's going to take 2 ticks off of his staff, though.
Okay. Do I take any harm or anything?
No. You were expecting to slam down really hard anyway, so yeah, your anvil body was prepared for a big splat. All right.
Elise, what are you doing while this is
Elise?
happening?
Whilst that is happening, I'm not sure what Elise would be doing, because Elise isn't going to want to get any closer if you're dropping an anvil / silverwing on his head.
Yeah, they have fallen to the side and are, I guess, probably trying to take another slightly more mobile form. How about Hollis or Yarrow?
Well, I can do the old try to telekinesis it away and just at least cause it to use that one little ass tick to be halfway through.
Yeah, just try to use telekinesis to grab it.
Makes
sense to
just
me.
like I'll use my focus and I'll even put an extra essence in there and we'll see if we can get it out. Let's see. Essence. I'll do a strong yank.
Yeah,
Strong yank on his staff.
Yeah.
that'll be risky standard.
Oh, it is
Wow, awesome, complete success.
It could have been very bad.
You watch as as the staff gets yanked so hard and so fast away from the sovereign, it literally goes up like 10, 12 stories into the air, and then whoop, it just reappears right in his hand. And he starts making a wide oval with the tip of the staff that looks like it encompasses the area that Elise, Seth, and Yarrow are all in. So he kind of steps back and reorients himself, and he's drawing this wide ellipse. And it also has the gnome in it. But he hasn't seen Hollis yet, so she is not subject to whatever he is trying to do.
So that's 6 ticks.
That takes another tick off of the.
So we're halfway, yay.
You see as the staff, like a goo kind of erupts around his hand, and it like is now extremely firm.
He glued himself to it.
And I'm going to use a tick for that. So now it's down to 5. A goo from his staff. That is correct. And it hardened. That is also correct.
Oh no.
The goo.
The goo hardened.
The goo hardened.
The staff was already as hard as possible. You couldn't make it harder. Right? Hollis, you are the the only person that is not currently being targeted. So,
Okay.
Everybody send encouraging thoughts to Hollis. Go, Hollis.
So, my thought is to use cutaneous talon and grow the biggest hand dagger that I can.
Okay.
And then I want to try to chop his hand off.
Okay. Do you
I'm gonna
have
run by and try to like brawl and chop his hand off.
do you have alacrity?
No.
Oh, you don't have alacrity at all? Oh, I'm
No.
surprised. Okay.
We'll try familiar riding in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I think his spell I think we're gonna go up to desperate because there is a good chance that the spell he's casting from his staff is actually gonna go off.
Okay.
So the consequences here are dire if this does not work. But
Okay.
yeah.
I'm
pressure.
going. Yeah. I think I have 3 in brawl. Let me check.
Nice.
It's been a minute since I looked at brawl. Yes, 3 in brawl. I'm gonna spend some more willpower and do increased effect. And I will roll these dice.
Just a quick FYI before you roll. If you damage him, there is a chance he will teleport away.
Oh, but he can if I get his hand off.
Right, that's true. Good point. Ooh!
Oh,
Teleports away.
stop
it! Okay. So I think as you're gearing up for the attack, his spell goes off, but it's not targeting you. So this will not have any impact on your ability to do this. However, this is a good thing because this is going to use some charges from his staff, which means that the chance of you actually, his staff running out of power, even if you're not completely successful, is high. So let us start by the 3 of you, Elise, Seth, and Yarrow, making prowess checks if you want to resist the thing that is being summoned over your heads.
Oh no!
No. Luckily, my prowess is probably the best of all of them.
Nice.
Oh, it might help if I actually use the
And
exclamation
if you put
point.
an R on the end, it'll do a resist. All right, Azael wins. Is a complete success.
Shoot. Ours
Or
went
did
in,
I?
like, right after each other. So
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't actually say.
I'll
Who
just
rolled?
send mine again because it did something weird.
All right.
There we go.
Oh,
Critical.
there's my 6.
All right. Well, I am going to roll, but I'm probably
Okay.
going to fail. So I'm going to use prescience after, most likely, to
Okay.
keep myself from dying horribly. But actually, you know what? I could use alacrity to get +2 die on a prowess resist.
Okay.
And that would be quite sensible in this case, I think.
Absolutely.
So let's see. Because fortunately, I actually took enough now that would put me up to 4, which would be a reasonable amount to roll.
Okay.
Woo!
Hey, all right. Okay, so we have Elise. Well, here, let's start with the lowest roll, which was a Zaelwyn for Yarrow. So, Yarrow, you see this metal cage start to form above your head, and it comes down on you, and when it hits the back of your hoof, and shatters the back of your hoof. It's
Ow.
not enough to, like, shut down your... It didn't, like, break your leg or anything, but it's, like, really bad cosmetic damage, and it's gonna probably cause you to limp for a while. But
Chipped your hoof.
you do get out from under it. You
I
notice...
just things gilded too. Like
You notice as you turn back that on the inside of the cage were metal spikes
Oh my god.
pointed downward. Let's see. Elise, you were able to get away from yours completely without even being...
Oof, and just smoking.
Yeah,
Appeared
probably...
next to it.
Yeah, saw Yarrow, the one above Yarrow appear, or the one above Seth appear. And Seth, you sensed the air above you shifting, and you were completely aware of what was happening before it had any chance of getting to you, and you were able to literally sidestep it and feel very smug about how well you
Like,
did.
that's my move.
Yeah, that's true. All right. And
How many
now,
ticks is that?
that was 3 ticks.
oh,
Ooh.
We got 2 left.
Yep, this brings it to Hollis. Hollis, if you're successful here, then you might not have time to heal the wound, or the staff might not have time to heal the wound, or the power to heal the wound, and also teleport him away. So, what do you want to use?
So now I'm trying to maybe rethink my action. So what I think I want to do instead is do a wild magic.
Okay.
I'm scared. I want it to work.
I don't remember. Can you do fog? Like, can you do fire and ice at the same time, or is it just like one or the other when you do?
As long as you
underworld
have
magic?
both, you can do.
Yeah.
You can do mixtures.
And as
In
everyone
theory,
can
any element you can imagine coming from the underworld.
Yeah. Something I wanted to mention is that the we talk about it in the real world. The veil between the worlds is thinner. That is an absolute known fact among witches, and that is the case here. Especially the underworld. The underworld is much closer to the real world right now.
Okay. So what I want to do is use wild magic to do a couple of things.
Okay.
I want to make my talon supernaturally sharp so
Okay.
that I have a greater chance of cutting his hand off. And then since my talon is supernaturally sharp, I want it to cut through the veil, and I'm going to jump into the underworld with his staff and run away.
Okay. So, your cutaneous talon already is that sharp.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's not a problem. So yeah, I think it's just making yourself a personal physical portal to the underworld is going to be the difficult part. So,
Okay. The
well,
wild magic part.
yeah, so for wild magic, that is start with 0 dice,
Mm-hmm.
plus 1 die if the effect is appropriate to your grimoire,
Yes.
which is
Baba.
Plus 1 die
I'm going to the underworld.
if the effect is appropriate to your heritage.
I'm trying very hard to stretch it.
I
in my
know, me
mind.
too.
I have an idea, but I'm trying not to be bad and make the portal very small so only you can get through it.
Oh yeah. That's what we're doing. Yep. It's a short portal because I'm short.
And the third is +1 die if the effect is appropriate to your aspect, your major arcana card.
My major arcana card is death, and we're going to the underworld where the death is.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, that is a 3-die wild magic roll. And I'm going to say we're going to give it increased effect, greater effect, because the veil between the worlds is thinner, and that's going to make this easier. So
Okay.
that's going to raise the effective dice level of whatever you roll by 1.
Let's hope it's
Okay.
not a 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, so
That's
there-
exclamation point 3W. Okay. So with the increased effect, that goes up to a 6, which is a complete success. You spend 3 essence, increase the fate of the coven by 3 ticks, increase your fey bargain by 3 ticks.
Okay.
And normally it's start a 6 to 8 clock for the Red Watch, but this is
They're
going to be...
already here.
We're going to call it a 4 o'clock because that's for them to bring in the vehicles and the big guns and everything.
I mean, I'm not going to be there, so.
Okay, I would say the only kinds of actions that can be taken, well, so we need to roll the brawl roll as well.
Yeah.
So that you can make it into the portal. The only other actions that can be taken right now would be those with alacrity. So let's start with the Hollis brawl roll.
Okay, so I spent the 2 willpower to increase the effectiveness.
Okay.
Where'd my channel go? It's gone again. There it is. Okay.
So desperate, and you raise the effect level?
Yeah.
Desperate greater effect. Oh! All right. Greater effect carries that up to a 6, so that's a complete success. You sever Sovereign Morningstar's hand. There is only a tiny bit of flesh at the top of his hand that is still holding it together. The staff and the top of the front part of his hand tear away quickly and easily. And the staff uses its power to reforge Sovereign Morningstar's hand. So that's the last of its power. The staff loses all of its magical properties for the moment until it has time to recharge. So you feel like you've had this sort of low-grade tickle on the back of your neck that has been, every time you've been close to this staff, and that just sort of goes away. It is no longer radiating the magic field that it was. It will recharge on its own, probably relatively quickly, but for now it is disabled. And the goo loses its stickiness as well. So even though his hand does immediately, so it like separates, and then the muscles and everything just sort of leap back from the hand and leap forward from the arm and start stitching themselves back together until
I have the staff.
You have his hand and the staff, and you are unable to. You'll need to take another action to get it out of his hand, because the staff used the last of its power to stitch his hand back together to basically resist the effect.
Okay.
But it is no longer powerful, so taking it should not be nearly as difficult. It's going to be a person holding a stick, and you are a very strong little person yourself. So
a very strong tiny goblin.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think what I would like to do is grab on a little bit higher to the staff closer to his hand, and then I'm gonna kind of jump myself feet first towards his face, and hold on to the staff with both hands, and then push off of his body.
Okay.
Towards the staff and the portal.
Okay. So you're like acrobatics.
Yeah, it's like a acrobatics kick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Everybody in chat is like, bite him. And by everybody, I mean Bloody Rose White Wolf.
I just want to. Yeah.
That sounds to me like a spring. Do you have another idea?
Spring is good, and I can spend willpower to get extra dice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And anybody else that wants to assist you can give you extra dice as well for willpower. If they're close enough and have a way.
I don't actually know where any of us are.
I know I'm on the float right now.
Yeah.
Am I close to Hollis to offer a willpower?
Yeah, assuming that you... I don't know what form you're in right now. The last we left you, you were in something like an anvil, but you had successfully sidestepped the cage, so you must be in some other form.
Yeah, so I think I might just be some like half-assed version between like Silverwing and Seth at this point. Maybe the Silverwing's starting to wear off.
A Zephyrwing.
Zephyrwing. That sounds like a book series I read as a kid.
Silverwing.
Silverwing. That might be it.
Oh. Okay, yeah, so what does that look like with your help? You just trying to like slam into him and get him off balance, or?
Yeah, if I'm still on the float and he's on the float and Hollis is, I guess, climbing up on the float.
You guys are actually both off the side of the float.
We're all off the
because
okay.
Yeah, you knocked him off and he hasn't got back up there yet.
Okay, well, Hollis is having a tumble with the Sovereign. I think I would just try to give him a shove.
Okay.
Behind, and then willpower boost just to kind of throw him off, so like Hollis can kind of get the high ground.
I have the high ground, Morningstar.
It's only to your shins, but it's the high ground.
Alright, so that'll give you one extra die, Hollis.
Okay.
That is a critical.
Oh!
Alright.
Yay!
Okay, you want to describe what happens?
Yeah, so Zephwing is able to pull him in one direction, and Hollis is pulling in the other direction off the staff, and she gets it out of his hand, and she chucks it into the portal, closes the portal, and the staff is gone into the underworld.
Okay. Oh, wow, nice. A throw.
I mean, if you want me to go with it, I can just come back from the underworld.
That's fine.
Okay.
Elise, any ideas? Anything you want to alacrity?
Well, we might want to alacrity the Sovereign out of here. Now that he's incapacitated. Well, he's not incapacitated, but his staff's limited, and he's a human.
Yeah.
So...
Most of his charms and artifacts that he has on his body were redstone, so there are probably a few odds and ends that he has that might still be working, but for the most part, as far as you guys know, he's a normal person right now, and he doesn't have his staff.
So we need to try to get him out of here quickly.
So can I just alacrity up and whisper sleep in his ear? And we'll put him to sleep for good. That way we can make sure he's out and then carry him until we decide to wake him up.
Elise, did you want to alacrity something as well, or do you want to let Yarrow, or what's the plan?
Well, I'd like to get him out of here fairly quickly before we have to deal with the entirety of the Red Watch
Yeah.
showing up with their armaments, there are certainly matters that Elise would like to deal with the Sovereign, but perhaps not during the parade.
Okay.
Unless we want to humiliate him here.
Okay. So, do we want to, start with Yara sleeping him with alacrity?
Seems like a sensible start.
Okay.
We're safer if he's asleep.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, you can make that roll.
All right, so I'll pop an essence to do the actual alacrity to run up real quick, and then for sleep, I think that's 1 essence and a focus roll.
Okay.
And we're focusing. Oh, we just put him right out like a baby.
All right. That's a complete success at Desperate. So, yeah. As soon as you whisper in his ear, he goes down. So whoever's closest to him can stop him from hitting the ground, or you guys can just let him hit the ground. Your choice.
It's like Yarl put all her focus into that word of power, considering they never work.
Elise couldn't carry him anyhow.
All right,
You
so I
carry
guess
him.
yeah, okay. Seth, you get him.
Yeah, I'll grab him.
Okay. So as soon as he slumps over, that's when they are no longer worried about accidentally shooting him. And so every Red Watch member that has line of sight on you guys opens fire. So I think that is going to be prowess rolls again.
Can I do a distraction and set the float on fire?
Oh, yeah, you do have that already set up. Yeah, I think that makes sense. All right.
Okay.
What
I
do you
set
want
the float on fire.
What? Yeah, I would say.
My goblin fire word.
Yeah, no need to make a roll for that. All right. It goes ablaze, and I would
That's
say
a 3 essence fire.
yeah, that it's a bonfire that rises so high that it obscures about 50% of the people that would be shooting at you guys. So it's, let's say instead of desperate, we're now down to risky, but it's still gonna be a resist roll from everybody.
Sorry, you said it's a prowess resist? Or?
Prowess resist, yeah.
Resist. Okay.
Oh,
Yarrow criticaled.
I've
Yay.
never had a critical roll.
Did we decide that Babas are immune to their fire? The underworld fire?
So yeah, in general, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be a bad roll would be the only thing that would make you potentially vulnerable to it. All right.
Okay.
So that's a partial success from Yarrow, a partial success from Seth, and a complete success from Morningstar.
Elise just
for
stands there
Elise.
drinking while the bullets start flying past her. One shatters her martini glass.
Yeah, Yarrow neoed with the critical, just neoed away.
Okay. Awesome. So I'm gonna say for everybody that got a partial success, you are taking level 3 harm from multiple gunshot wounds. It would have been well, no, let's make it level 2 because the fire helped reduce a lot of the bullets that were flying through the air. So that was Seth and Hollis that got the worst of it, and that also cost you 1 willpower.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Whilst they are shooting at us.
Yeah.
Bless you, darling. Since Alicia's not getting hit by the bullets, I would love to use my personal projection to have an illusion of her appear right behind the people shooting, so she can ask, that illusion can ask them politely what they're doing.
Okay.
Who are you shooting at?
Yeah,
Just to send them into a bit of confusion for a moment.
yeah, I think to get the majority of them, that probably you'd have to bump that 2 levels. So it'd cost you 5 essence instead of 1. But that would count as like a setup action. So you'd get increased effect on anything else you guys do against them directly.
Well, I'm
Because
certainly willing to spend the lofty amount of essence today.
Awesome. Okay, no roll needed for that. Duplicates of you start springing up on every street corner behind these Red Watch, and several of them turn around and fire straight through your illusion into crowds of people.
My God.
No.
So
It's not
yeah.
my fault, it's theirs.
So you have, you guys definitely have a few seconds of chaos that you can take advantage of. You watch as the underworld portal has now completely closed, and the staff is gone. You know it won't necessarily be an incredibly long time before it recharges. But who knows how the underworld might affect its recharging? So we'll see.
Well, whether it charges or not, I don't think that the Sovereign's going to have an easy time accessing it.
Once it gets back enough essence, it can still teleport to his hand, but
even interdimensionally.
But it'll need a lot more essence to be able to do it interdimensionally. So that's why I think instead of having a little bit of time, you guys have a decent amount of time. So
I have an idea.
Okay.
To make cover for all of my coven mates to leave, I've never attempted it before, but I want to do 2 wild magics in the same day.
You'll have to move to another area. So if you want to lead them on.
So the idea is to build up too much magic in one area, like that Storm Witch was doing, like the tornado kind of a situation. But I want to make a fire tornado so that they focus on me while everybody else leaves. So I want it to seem very dangerous, like there's too much magic in one area.
Okay.
I want it to be unstable.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'd say we can do wild magic at reduced effect.
Why is it reduced effect?
Because you're doing it in the same place that you've already done wild magic. If you lead them away to another area that hasn't had the magic kind of sucked out of it, then it would be at standard effect.
Can I suck it from all the other witches that are in the area?
Ooh. Yeah. It'll change the type of potential bad effect, but yeah, I think you can. So yeah, that'll make it standard effect. That's interesting, yeah. All right, so we go back to the questions. Start with 0 dice. Is the effect appropriate to your grimoire?
So the effect is with the fire, so I would say yes, it's appropriate to my grimoire.
Yeah. Heritage?
Probably not.
Okay. And aspect?
Death. Yes. Hellfire.
Yeah, it is Hellfire. True. All right, so 2 dice, standard effect. So exclamation point 2W.
I have all the wild magics. They have to look at me, right?
Um,
All right, Dicebot. Don't be a dick.
oh
Oh!
my god.
Yeah.
and Hollis claps. Okay.
Well, I think Hollis is dead.
Every I think first off, all of you lose 3 essence. From
Oops.
the burst of magic that is needed to very cool. The hand of fate is not being nice to anybody. It just sucks magic out of you, and Hollis starts to spin. Like you can tell she's summoning elements. But you can tell they're already having an effect on her. Whereas normally she can stand at the middle of a firestorm that she creates. But the wind that she's summoning from Tartarus is literally spinning her. And you guys are like, okay, this is definitely gonna get out of control.
Yeah, and I'm screaming to you guys through our brain connection to go.
And you see the tips of her fingers and her cutaneous talon just start to almost like they're like gravity is pulling upward, and like just they're shearing away like into a black hole. And yeah, you can see like the tips of her fingers are shearing off into the flame as it expands and takes over and pulls the fire from the float nearby, and that it gets consumed and starts a tornado outward. And yeah, I think everybody is going to need to get far away from that. What do you all want to do?
Sovereign
I think-
in my arms at this point, so I would like
Oh,
to
good point.
do some kind of if I'm still partly Silver Seth,
Yeah.
I'll do an essence for some dire form to get some speed and strength to get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. We know from the past that you are definitely strong enough as a silver wing to carry a person. So I don't think that's going to be a problem at all for you to just sort of throw the sleeping body of the sovereign over your shoulder and carry him away. What is everybody else doing?
Probably alacritying out if
Yeah.
Okay.
Seth's going to try to carry the sovereign away.
Okay.
I don't imagine. I mean, I suppose I could use Chaos Magician to try to save Hollis, but Hollis is telling us to get out, and Elise is not going to put herself on the line. She's too selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yarrow can't help herself, and she's gonna try to alacrity to Hollis to grab her out before alacritying away, but she is gonna try to grab Hollis first.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, because it's wild magic, I don't think you have any I don't want to say you don't have any chance of success. But I think if you attempted wild magic at a disadvantage, you might be able to make some effect. You're a arcanist, so maybe by understanding the magic and the way it's impacting the underworld and all of these conditions, because there are a lot of weird things going on right now. Maybe if you tried to like understand all those conditions, you could do some kind of wild magic. Might not be enough to save her, but it might be enough to shunt you guys into some alternate place, potentially.
Or I figured if I could try to save her, we'll just see how bad I get burned trying to save her. I'll see how much I damage myself just
Yeah.
trying to It's like, because I just have to attempt it, even though I know I'm not going to be successful. I don't think Yarrow would be happy unless she at least like attempted.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, with that double one roll, yeah, she is in. It was already dire circumstances to begin with. Hello, mythical family. Thank you. You have been entered into our raffle that will be going on in just a moment by chatting. All right. Yeah, let's have a roll for that. So for Yarrow's Wild Magic, we start with 0 dice. +1 die if the effect is appropriate to your grimoire, which is.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm an arcanist,
Okay.
so it's.
And,
I think the understanding and taking things apart type thing.
Okay. Yeah, and maybe finding a way in that's safe-ish.
Ish.
+1 die if the effect is appropriate to your heritage.
Well, satyrs. Well, I mean, I will be galloping in if I'm gonna stretch it that far. We'll see. I'll gallop my little hooves in.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since they're crumpled.
Yeah, your crumpled hoof. All
Yeah,
right.
my little crumpled hoof. I'll limp
Yeah.
gallop.
Broken
And
heel.
+1 die if the effect is appropriate to your major arcana card, your aspect.
And my aspect is the moon, which is this. I can't remember if we're having this more towards the evening.
It's always
It's
evening
always
and midnight.
It's
Yeah,
always
that's
midnight
right.
and midnight.
That's right. So yeah, the moon is out, and my aspect is the moon.
Yeah, they would definitely have this Samhain parade at night. So that sounds good. So that's 3 dice, and we're gonna say that is at reduced effect because of all the wild magic that's already gone on here, and yeah, the situation is bad.
Do I have to type anything in specific after the 3?
Just
for the
W.
Okay, just W. That's what.
Oh, I forgot the W on mine.
Oh, did you? Ooh, you got a complete
wait.
success.
My drive for my friend.
All right. So from the outside, we could pretty much say that what everyone sees is that you leap into the middle of the fire tornado, and the two of you get torn apart together. But what maybe did happen is maybe a hair more interesting than that. And we could leave that for a potential future.
Nobody
time.
knows. Are they dead? Are they not dead? Dun dun dun.
They fused and melted together now.
Yeah, they've fused. Yeah, they're a fusion.
We turned into a giant woman.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can just imagine a big giant gnome with horns and hooves.
Oh yeah, the gnome got sucked into that too.
Oh no.
Or not, yeah, no. And a little goblin,
Terrifying.
goblin ears and
Yeah.
horns.
Awesome. Yeah. So, Seth, are you going up? You gonna just flap those giant silver wings and fly away with the sovereign?
Yeah, I'm assuming there's a parade. The roads are gonna be awful. I'm just gonna go up and away.
Mm-hmm.
Darling, it's New York City. The roads are going to be awful regardless.
You got to put a little wiggle in that. It's New York City.
New York City.
Jackie Date,
Yeah.
best guy. I need to get my GPS to sound like him.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
That'd be great.
Okay, so that leaves Elise. You are now the only person left in any real danger.
Yes, and as much fun as it is to be in real danger, it does sound like it's best if I escape. So, I'm going to attempt to alacrity the hell out of here.
Okay. It costs you a lot of essence and a lot of effort, but you zip away and nothing is really powerful enough to stop you from escaping. So soon thereafter, Seth and Elise arrive at the Covenstead, but Elise arrives first. I guess
Really?
running across the water.
Faster than flying.
Mm-hmm.
I ran into traffic. I hit a bunch of geese.
Canada geese.
Yeah. You arrive first. You can sense that the ritual on top of the tower is still ongoing, but you also know that there is a portal in the basement.
Yes. And I'm tempted to just dive. Well, assuming. No, I couldn't actually. Never mind. I was going to say I'd just dive into the underworld, but I can't actually attune it to that.
You can't normally, but you can wild magic it.
Could attempt to wild magic in to steal the staff. But in all honesty, I'm more interested in the Sovereign at the moment, but he's not even here.
Yeah, he hasn't arrived yet.
It's set to fly faster.
If someone doesn't get a hold of the staff, it is going to return to his hand.
Right. Well, then, I shall attempt to do that before that happens. So I will indeed attempt to wild magic my way into the underworld, which I don't imagine is going to go very well.
So we start with 0 dice. Add 1 die if the effect is appropriate to your grimoire.
It's not.
I think you are reattuning a portal that does have astral potential. It has other potential as well.
I suppose that
the
is.
last place we went with it, right? The astral was the last place it was open to.
Yeah, but I think he's going to the underworld, or Elise is
Yeah, I'm
to
just
the
saying that it would still have some astral juice left over.
The 3 lichers still there, right? So can't like the one lich that was kind of bored with the.
Oh, we're doing a ritual, darling.
Yeah, the liches are busy, but Balzafan is still around, and Balzafan is underworld tied.
Right. That's what I meant. A mistake.
Oh, it's all right. So
perhaps I should reach out to Balzafan then. See if perhaps he can aid me.
He is 100% at your beck and call as far as anything you need. So let's say having him convert astral energy to underworld energy and make that work.
That certainly seems like it would make it easier for Elise to try to cast the spell.
Right. The next thing would be an effect appropriate to your heritage. So I guess now is the time that knowing who Medea is might come in handy. Not Tyler Perry's Medea.
No, I don't unfortunately remember enough about my mythology at the moment.
Anything about portals, the underworld?
I mean, she killed all of her children.
So maybe she goes visit them every now and again.
Sure.
So that's a maybe. And your aspect.
The aspect is the Empress. I'm not certain how one really ties that in at all.
Well, what's the artwork on your card? Isn't it 2 like skeletons bowing to
No, it's they're genuflecting before the Empress. There's sleeves bowing to her, but that's not really relevant to what's happening.
Yeah, this is definitely a very it is definitely significantly out of your normal wheelhouse.
Well, you're going for the staff, right? Which is a ruling
symbol of authority.
Okay.
I suppose.
Yeah, and you've had contact with it at this point. Like, it tried to enter your mind. So you have a sort of type of astral connection to it. So I think that's worth 2 dice.
2 dice. All right.
So, exclamation point 2 W.
Just 2. Just yes. W, I see.
Yes.
Exclamation point 2 W. All right.
Good
Fingers
luck.
Crossed.
That's a partial success. You do it with a short-lived, interesting magical complication. Do you have any ideas? Because I immediately have an idea, but I wouldn't want to thrust that.
If you have an idea, do propose it. I don't have any.
Not
necessarily.
your attempt to connect with Balzafan to do this spell temporarily, at minimum, temporarily fuses the two of you, and you have to go into the underworld together.
Oh dear. That does sound quite amusing, though.
Okay.
At least I'm not alone.
True. So the portal closes behind you, just as Seth and the Sovereign arrive, and you are in an unfamiliar part of the underworld, looking for the staff.
Thankfully, Balzafon's here.
Mm-hmm.
He might have an idea of what is out of place here.
Do you want
I suppose the best thing for me to do would actually be to start with a grimoire sense to see if I can sense anything that's not inherently underworld.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm gonna say it's not nearby enough that you are able to sense it. But you could command Balzafan to potentially kind of send out a signal and see if he can locate it.
That is a good idea. Yes, let's get him to do the work here because he knows best what he's doing.
All right.
And he certainly wants us to get that staff back before the Sovereign has it too.
Absolutely.
I'm sure.
So command roll. Do you think that would make the most sense?
Seems sensible. It seems what Elise would do.
All
Certainly,
right.
even if it isn't the most practical thing she could do, it is the most her thing to do. So, let's see if she can boss around this demon that she's fused with.
That is a critical.
Yes, she
He
can.
is very intimidated.
Yeah, you're like, you're like, you are a demon that is older than, like more than 10,000 years old. But yeah, he is easily bossed around by Elise, as he probably would be by any of you, because of
He's
the
the
things
submissive sort.
you've done for him. And yes, he is absolutely the submissive sort. He is able to fly the two of you to where the staff is laying. It is levitating above a pool of lava, but it is not too far away when you land.
I don't have telekinesis. Wondering what I could actually do. How big is this pool of lava? That's an important question.
It's probably about twice the width of the staff. It's not too far. You can see creatures keep sort of reaching out of the lava and trying to grab a hold of it, and it just sort of levitates a few inches above wherever they try to grab. And so it's kind of rolling, here and there. But it's only about 8 or so feet away. But you are currently flying with Balzafan, so...
Oh, I didn't really think about the fact that Balzafon could fly and that we were fused. Might be worth attempting to just zip in as quickly as possible and getting it.
Okay. Yeah, you're like...
I do actually have an add-on for my alacrity that allows it to work in the underworld.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Specifically, the only spell that works in the underworld is one that could be useful.
Nice.
Right now.
I'm going to say no roll needed then. The two of you descend and you grab a hold of the staff. You feel overwhelmed with power, even though this thing is currently deactivated. It is the most powerful thing that Elise has ever touched.
Which is not a good thing, since she's clearly not sane right now.
Channeling any kind of powers through it would be exceptionally powerful. It's something that Sovereign Morningstar is unable to do because he's not a witch. However, it is well within your wheelhouse.
But probably not the best to do here in the underworld. The ideal situation would probably be to get out of here.
Yeah. Sounds good. Okay.
With this thing clung as close as it can in Elisa's hand. She's never gripped quite so tightly on something before.
All right. So, Seth, what are you up to? You have just landed. You see that the ritual is ongoing, but Balzafan is missing. And you can see that the bunker door has been left open.
Well, I guess I'm going to bring him inside because whether he's a human or not, I know that he should probably be secured.
Mm-hmm.
So I can put him down in like the cell we have.
Okay. It's a good idea. Lock him in?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess at this point you would probably hear Elise and Balzafan re-emerging in the basement. So, I mean,
Still stuck together.
When they come through the portal, they separate again.
Thank goodness, too, because I don't think I could fit into my dresses in that body.
Yeah, you were in his kangaroo pouch. That doesn't exist.
We have the staff and we have the sovereign. But we lost
as soon
half
as
the party.
Yeah. As soon as you get back into the basement of your coven, you feel the staff starting to regain power much more quickly. But it is currently in your grasp, and it does not appear to be teleporting away.
Good.
Yours now. We claim dibs.
But I'm sure the liches expect us to give it back. Be divided up.
Balzafan says, I hear something up above. I'll go check it out. And runs off up the stairs, curling his wings inward as he runs up the stairs toward, presumably, Seth, leaving you alone in the basement with the portal.
Well then, Elise looks at the portal almost longingly for a second, as if she is contemplating diving back in. But she knows she has to do something else first, and she heads up, following them to where Seth presumably is.
Mm-hmm.
Or whoever has arrived, because goodness knows, as far as she's aware. But I guess we have telepathic bonds still, so
True.
Seth's probably still alive if she can sense them.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, you can sense each other.
Well then, let's have a little bit of a meetup.
Alrighty.
Little cry.
Down by little cry. Family's broken apart. Spider Stripe is just like, like.
Why can't I hear them anymore? What's wrong?
Yeah. We're meeting with the liches, just us two.
Right now it is the two of you. Balzafan is there. He'll follow your commands as far as where you want him to go next.
Would you two like to go and check and see if the ritual is almost done? This is trying to get left alone with Sovereign's body.
Well, Sep's gonna want to check on it anyway, not necessarily knowing Elise has intentions.
Balzafan will carry you up to the top of the tower if necessary.
Oh, what a gem!
Right. And Elise, you can feel that the staff is recharging. It's probably going to try to jump to the Sovereign soon. So you'll definitely need to take care of something.
So am I all alone then?
Yeah, Seth, anything you want to say to Elise?
Now isn't the time, but later we should mourn our friend.
But of course, they will be remembered by all who will enjoy the bright days that are to come.
And
After midnight all the time.
as Elise says that, you reach into your pocket to feel that red stone, and it's gone. Oh well. You've been using it as kind of like a worry stone in your pocket for the last 2 years.
But thankfully now I don't have to worry about it at all.
No. Right. Seth, you rise to the top of the building and see the 13 children surrounding a circle where the 3 liches form a triangle in the center of the circle, and a storm is brewing overhead. Lightning is striking the pedestals, and energy is being channeled around, and you see as the first child appears to have completed their transformation and has their magic back. And then the power continues to move around the circle.
It's a magical duck, duck, goose kind of situation.
All right, Elise.
I think it's time for more wild magic.
All right, this one way more up your alley.
Yes.
All right, 0 dice for to start. Is the effect appropriate to your grimoire?
Well, Elise's intended effect is to basically force her mind into someone else's. So that's psyche, I would say.
Absolutely. Is the effect appropriate to your heritage?
One could argue that because she is attempting to take over a Median body, or a human body,
Right.
that her Median heritage provides her with a little bit more insight on how it should operate.
I think that's absolutely correct. And then, is the effect appropriate to your aspect, the Empress?
The Empress, well, one could say that what she is doing is thoroughly and completely dominating someone else, putting herself at the utmost of authority over another figure of authority.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, I would say that this one is very much up her alley.
Yeah. And I think you are far enough from the basement where the last wild magic was cast that you're not going to have a reduced effect.
Right. Well, let's see if Elise's wicked little scheme works out, or if this backfires very poorly.
Hey! That's a complete success. So
My favorite kind of success. Well, actually, no, my second favorite kind of success. Critical's better.
yeah, criticals are a little bit better.
But I can't be picky.
You got all even numbers too. Interesting. All right. Do you want to describe what happens?
Yes. While Seth and Bolzaphon have run off, Elise pulls her diadem out and puts it on her head, takes the staff in her hands, and she can feel the power brimming from both of them, and she knows exactly what she needs to do. She takes the staff and she points it down, pressing the tip of it right to the sovereign's neck. He begins to stir, the staff wavering a bit as if it is about to go back to him. But just as he sees that she is about to cast a spell on him, suddenly, he is no more. Mentally, at least. Now, Elise has taken over his mind. She is gone as well. It is just the Sovereign, with Elise's mind, and the staff.
And the diadem.
And the diadem. And she looks herself over for a moment, and then very quickly tries to run back to the portal.
Yeah, you fish the keys off of Elise's body's belt, and or out of her pocket, and unlock your cell door, and head toward the basement with this slightly burned out diadem and the rapidly regaining power staff. And you slip into the portal and very quietly, and it closes behind you. Do you want to describe anything else that happens, or?
I like to keep it more open-ended. But just know that she's out there, darlings. She could be anywhere.
Mm-hmm. So when Seth arrives back, you see that the Sovereign has escaped. He has killed Elise, and he has disappeared with both Elise's diadem and the staff. And Hollis and Yarrow...
You screwed up, Seth. You really screwed up. You shouldn't have left them alone.
However, when you do come back, you have the 13 children in tow who have all regained all of their magic. And
just to watch their mom die.
They they have to mourn the loss of everyone else in the coven, leaving Seth as the coven mother / coven non-binary parent.
Coven fish.
Unless they're bad, then coven eel.
Coven, no, if they're bad, it's the coven octopus.
I thought that was for 13 hugs.
Well, it managed to kill the child in the
That's
first
true.
time.
Dire octopus. The coven fish. I like it. All right. Let us do a... well, should we do a giveaway now, or should we do a, sort of final, pro or epilogue for each of the characters? Because I know, Hollis, there are things happening to you now that you have re-entered the underworld without a body.
It might be nice to do the giveaway first, and then we end everything really clean with everybody's stuff.
Yeah, give everybody a few minutes to think about. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to look through our chat and see. I see one person, one new chatter. Okay. I'm just going to double check and make sure that I'm not missing anybody. But yeah, if anybody has not chatted yet and wants to be entered in the giveaway, now is the time to send a message. And you will be entered in the giveaway. We've already given away one $25 gift certificate to Rebecca Dementia. And we will be giving away 2 more of those and then a $50 gift certificate. Alright, I think I have caught up to our last break. So that means that I can make another, roll another 14-sided die. You know, the kind that doesn't exist.
Shouldn't it be 15 now that we have one extra?
But we lost one. Rebecca cannot win twice.
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Ooh, that's a lot of dice. I can't even see. There we go. Okay. All right. Random number. There we go. All right, and it's a 1. So the most recent person to have chatted is Bloody Rose White Wolf. So Bloody Rose White Wolf. If we are able to ship internationally, then we will send that to you. So we will check on that. Otherwise, it will be Midnight Rose 926. So we will keep that in mind, and we will talk to the representative of forgedgaming.com, Forged Gaming Company, and see if we can get that squared away for you. All right. Hollis, is it cool if we start with you for your prologue or epilogue?
Sure.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, my I'm covering. Okay, there.
There we go.
All of your stuff was paused.
Frozen. Yeah, so Hollis has been in a relationship with a dead girl since about the middle of last season. Her name is Naomi, and they have developed quite strong feelings for each other. So now that Hollis is dead, they can be together. So
Yeah.
that's where Hollis is, living out, enjoying her dying days and dead time with her girlfriend.
Awesome. What happened to Yarrow? There was a lot of wild magic going on, and I think, Yarrow, you have the ability to kind of decide your own fate. Do you want to be in the underworld?
I think Yarrow did get stuck in the underworld, and in searching for her friends is basically on this epic journey in the underworld where she is meeting all kinds of horrible and terrifying monsters, but also she has come into contact with maybe a couple lost souls on the way, and ultimately she's been trying to find Hollis because she's the only last good tie to it, and she hasn't found her yet. So that's kind of her ultimate little underworld journey to go find her last friend that she knew while she was alive.
Yeah. You guys know from a lot of experience that there are so many underworlds to explore. So yeah.
I'm hoping I'm in the right one, but yeah, it's basically a big epic journey now.
Yeah. You have to find Chiron every once in a while, get him to carry you across, find a way to pay him, get him to carry you across to another underworld.
My little Nomathy is my only permanent sidekick now, because Jean was still outside of all the portal stuff, so I don't have a normal familiar. So Nomathy is my only charm that I try to keep alive.
Disconnected, yeah, but now you have your new. He's almost like a little familiar.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's like, hey, little buddy, let's get going. We'll find our friends.
Seth?
Well, being the foster frog coven fish, with all these kids now, I guess. First of all, Seth is gonna. They think everyone's dead at this point, so they're miserable. They're having a bad time. They will make 3 stones and put them in Hollis's graveyard to mourn their coven mates, and have a ceremony with Jack Spiderstripe, because he was involved for a while too. Even if he did have bad feelings about us at some point, he was still part of the coven. But they're gonna mourn their coven mates. The children are gonna take part in the ceremony just to kind of silently mourn their passing and wish they're in a better place now. And then I guess they'll try to do their best to take care of whatever kids that are going to stay on the island and try to get them back. The ones that do have parents and know where they're from.
Yeah.
Yeah, just waiting on the island to start a new coven, to find their friends, to rekindle memories.
Oh. And I'm sure Hollis is over there, blowing out candles from the underworld and stuff to try to get
your otherworld omens from now on. It's just Hollis.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it tells you.
Oh my god, yeah, it's just me and Hollis having tea every time I do it.
You do a little seance, and the teacup tilts up. What about Elise?
It's on the mirror. Get out of my room.
Elise. unbeknownst to most, because she didn't exactly express it, was she had some things revealed to her during our foray into the astral about the wider multiverse. Found out that she could be much more powerful if she could escape. And so she did. She stole the Sovereign's form, a form more ancient than her own, and used it to escape out of the world of Children of Midnight to the worlds that are perhaps a little bit less magically gifted and thus easily conquered. And it's hard to say where she could be now, but we do know what she looks like.
So we know to be on the lookout. All right. Well, that was Nightsky Sanctum Coven. 42 episodes of goodness, and all of that is still available on YouTube. I saw a lot of people in chat asking what we're going to do next. We are going to be pitching some ideas to one another, and I have some ideas about potential future doings, but it will be with a different coven. So we will be making a new coven and new characters. And we will talk about whether we are inhabiting a future iteration of this world, or whether we are going back to base Children of Midnight Coven and jettisoning the lore that we've created here. Both have their advantages, so it'll be a discussion.
It'll be hard to pick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have some ideas about if we were to continue in this timeline, what that might look like. But I want to put those things into the ether, into our private conversations first, and get people on board before we decide and blurt it all out. But I want to tell you, it is going to be so much fun and so exciting, whichever direction we choose to go. We will be taking, we will be playing a little bit more sparsely. So with our next coven, we plan to go bi-weekly. It's just easier for us to all go by. So that is a likelihood. We all have a lot of stuff that we have to do on a daily and weekly basis, and we don't necessarily have the time that we had when we first started.
No, we've all grown quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. So we will be talking with potential GMs and potential players about possibly having it so there is one coven that runs on Tuesdays at this time period, at this time, and then the next week it is whatever coven we create amongst ourselves. And then just every other week is the other coven. So we'll be in talks with people that are interested in running and playing that. Most of those positions are going to go to probably Patreon supporters, definitely people that are in our Discord, and we're going to look to bring in some outside talent as well whenever possible, because we want to make sure that we have an extremely diverse and inclusive cast. So,
And we're staying fresh.
yeah, absolutely.
Yes, it's so much fun. I mean, our guests are always so lovely.
Yeah, we've had a lot of really great guest stars, and we would love to bring any/all of those back in the future. So many potential things that we could be doing. So if you're not yet on the Discord, that is the place to be. Whenever any new information comes out about what kind of coven we're going to be running next, it's probably going to be there first. So definitely jump on there. We'd love to see you. We have so much fun on our Discord on a daily basis. So let's let everybody know where they can find us. We might do some kind of a wrap up where we maybe go back through some of our past episodes or do a Q&A. Chaos Them had this really awesome idea for a game that a friend of theirs made that allows you to answer questions in character. So it might give everybody a little insight into how Seth thinks, or what Elise thinks about these things. And there are some kind of racy questions. It sounded really really fun. Tooth or truth. Will you tell the truth or will you swallow the tooth? I think is the tagline. And I have no idea what that means. So we were watching Barbarian while we were chatting with Chaos Them about it, and just so confused, but in the most awesome way. So that's a potential as well for the future, but we will keep in contact with everybody on what we do there. So let's quickly go around the room.
We have more giveaways, don't we?
Yeah, we do. So we should probably
Let's just go ahead and do those first.
Yeah. Has anyone else? Okay, we're down to 13. We're down to 13 chatters. I will do
and 10 lurkers.
Yeah. All right.
I suppose I'm one of the lurkers, so.
Yeah, I'm a lurker
13.
too.
It is the first person who ever chatted. That would be Isabella DeClan. Was the first person to have chatted during this. So Isabella, you have won a $25 gift card to forgedgaming.com, Forged Gaming Company. And we will roll one more time. I'm going to give everybody
finale, grand prize.
one more second to chat, potentially add another chatter. But I think if there are any lurkers that are still here that want to chat, to add yourself to the list for the grand prize drawing, and everybody can't see you again because I suck. All right. Yeah, any lurkers? You only have a few more seconds.
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Any emoji works.
And I just got word that they will be able to ship to Bloody Rose White Wolf.
Yay!
Yay! Awesome. Okay. So we have one more die roll, and Midnight Rose gets to be in the drawing. Oh, they were last time as well. All right. Final drawing. The number is 4, so we are going to pause at Robot Rainbows. 1, 2, 3. Midnight Rose 926 won the grand prize. So we will be shipping you out a $50 gift card. So thank you all so much for being a part of this. Awesome. Let us start with Morningstar, who is now no longer Elise.
Well, can you be certain about that, darling? We don't know where she went.
Mm-hmm.
If you are hoping to see more of either me or Elise, I can't promise as much of her, but who knows? You can find me as the Cytherian on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I am elsewhere as well, but I wouldn't bother looking for those. We post marvelous photographs every week. And, well, actually, for once, I don't think we do have something very special coming up. It's just something moderate. But Megan's going to do their best anyhow.
Awesome.
Sure as heck try.
Go ahead, Megan.
But yes, I am Megan, the editor and photographer for the Morningstar content. So we do have posts that we do on Fridays. Every Friday we release something new. And I have my own page on Instagram where you could find some behind the scenes and some occasional fun artsy stuff. There was a poster up today for our last episode of Sanctum. It's going to be kind of in the mindset of me for editing, just that kind of section for my own little edits, but there's going to be Morningstar content in there as well. And like I said before, we upload every Friday. I'm the Seafoam Workshop. My own page isn't going to have things as frequent, but there's little tidbits there once in a while if you want to sneak by.
Like that beautiful poster you made of Nightsky Sanctum.
It was gorgeous, yes.
So good.
Thank you.
Definitely go check out Seafoam Workshop. Yeah, that everything you've ever posted has been immaculate and amazing. So,
Oh, thank you.
awesome.
Bush.
Azalwin?
Yeah, I'm Azalwin. You can find me literally anywhere at Azalwin, except for on TikTok. It's under Goddess Azalwin. But coming up, starting at the end of this week, it'll be Friday or Saturday. It'll be a weekend post. We're going to be getting into the nitty gritty of basically latent October spookiness that just takes a while to finish up, and things needed to cure before I could take pictures of them. And then going into the holiday season, we're just going to carry the spooky vibe all the way into the holiday season. So you'll be seeing quite a few creative posts coming up. And I am doing some photography shoots with some models that one of them you may even recognize from here. And we'll definitely look forward to posting that coming up soon.
Awesome. And Andrea?
Yeah, I'm Andrea. I am one half of the writing and creative team at Balsamic Moon Games. This is our game that we have built together, Children of Midnight Coven, and this coven, Nightsky Sanctum, has been our longest running coven and our first foray into Twitch streaming. And I really want to thank everybody for coming along with us. It's meant so much to us. You have no idea how much it has boosted our confidence in our abilities and our creativity, and it really just it means a whole lot. If you want to see more of us, we are over at Wildwood Witch on Thursdays now, where we'll be doing paranormal and spooky stuff. Probably picking up some more games at some point in time, but yeah, mostly paranormal stuff. And yeah, we have some stories that are going to be coming up soon that are super fun. Thanks to everybody who joined us for our surprise sewing stream. That was super fun.
Yeah.
Let's see. I am on Twitter and Instagram as Wildwood Witch as well, so you can find me there.
Yeah. And I'm the other half of the writing team. We're still working on the manuscript for the full version of Children of Midnight Coven. So we're still building factions out and getting it ready for publishing. So join us on Discord if you want to have any commentary, if you have questions about the rules and everything. We're always making posts about slight changes to the rules. Like today we changed power word destroy to power word detonate. I did that unilaterally to fit with the naming conventions. But anyway, yeah, we have so much fun, and we're always making games. I come up with basically an idea for a new game every 2 to 3 weeks, and then work on it for a day, and so I have so many games that I have in playtesting or sometimes they're just one-page things that come out the same day that I make them. So if you want to learn about those, go check out our Discord. I see Midnight Rose joined our Discord. Make sure to you're going to get a message from our bot. So make sure to respond to that. Otherwise, you won't gain full access to the server. Somebody named Midnight Rose joined. So, did I? But yeah, if you do get on there, make sure to message me and I'll get your email address so we can get you the prize. Thank you again to forgedgaming.com. They're our very first sponsor ever. So we are so excited and happy that they wanted to be involved with us. And we hopefully look forward to any future endeavors they want to take on with us. So with that, we will bid you all a good night, and we will talk to you again soon and figure out what the next coven is going to look like. All right.
Thank you for joining us for this adventure, darlings. It's been wonderful. And thank you, Gavin, for leading us down
Oh,
this
thank
adventure.
you. All right.
And on Andrea for it's part of the whole game. So thank you
Of
for the
course.
entire creation team
Yes, the whole
for
team
letting us be a
deserves our
part of this
praise.
and letting us go on this 2-year journey with you in this wonderful storytelling adventure.
And thank you as well. And thank Azalwin as well for
You guys
coming
are so amazing.
for jumping into this adventure midstream with us and
Mhm.
and joining us and really, you know, taking the time and learning things and just being a part of this, even though, you know, you might not have started out with us, but you're still a full member of the
Finish
coven.
and
Oh
struggling with
yes,
it.
part of the coven,
Mm-hmm.
through
So
and through.
and a quick thank you also to all the guest stars that we've had in the past, from uh, the Scorp Poet Witch, to Joshua R.E. Wilson, um, Dragon Girl Josie, and Navi and Sean Drake, that have all come and been guest stars, as well as Graham Gentz, who ran the game for us last week. That was a whole lot of fun. So, and yeah, we will look forward to having a game with all of you guys soon. So, again, have a wonderful night, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you again so much.